Hey Taurus, welcome back to your weekly reading. So I just sat down with your cards for this week of October 13th through 19th, and honestly, I need you to grab your favorite drink and settle in, because what came through is really something special. I am genuinely excited to share this with you because the energy here is speaking volumes about where you are headed, and I think you are going to find this incredibly relevant to what you have been experiencing lately. Before I dive into the cards themselves, I just want to say that the overall energy of this reading feels like movement and transformation, but in a very Taurus-friendly way. You know how sometimes change can feel abrupt or uncomfortable for you because you value stability so much? Well, this week, the universe seems to understand that about you, and what is coming through feels more like a natural evolution rather than a jarring shift. It is like watching a season change, where you can see it happening gradually, and you have time to adjust and actually appreciate the beauty of the transition. Okay, so let me tell you about the first card I pulled for you. I got the Seven of Swords. And when this card appeared, I actually had to sit with it for a moment because it is such a nuanced card. And for Taurus specifically, it carries a really interesting message. The Seven of Swords traditionally gets a bit of a bad reputation because it can indicate deception or someone being sneaky, but I want you to hear me out on this because the way it is showing up for you this week is actually quite different and honestly pretty empowering. What I am seeing with the Seven of Swords in your reading is that you are being called to be strategic and smart about how you are moving through a particular situation. This is not about being dishonest with others, but rather about being clever and perhaps a bit selective about what you share and when you share it. You might be working on something right now, whether it is a creative project or a career move or even a personal goal, and the cards are saying that you do not need to broadcast every single step of your journey to everyone around you. There is power in moving quietly sometimes, and this week that strategic silence might actually be your greatest asset. I am also picking up that some of you Taurus folks might be dealing with a situation where you need to extract yourself from something that is no longer serving you. Maybe it is a commitment you made that you realize is not aligned with your values anymore, or perhaps it is a pattern of behavior that you are ready to leave behind. The Seven of Swords is giving you permission to be a little bit cunning about how you make your exit. You do not owe everyone a detailed explanation for every decision you make, especially when it comes to protecting your own peace and well-being. There is something here about trusting your instincts and knowing that sometimes the smart move is the quiet move. What really strikes me about this card for you, Taurus, is that it is asking you to tap into a part of yourself that maybe does not come as naturally to you. You are typically so straightforward and honest and loyal, and those are beautiful qualities, but this week you might need to add a layer of strategic thinking to that foundation. It is like learning a new skill where you are staying true to who you are at your core, but adding some tactical awareness to how you approach certain situations. Think of it as emotional and mental chess, where you are thinking a few moves ahead and positioning yourself wisely. The second card that came through for you is the Knight of Wands. And okay, this is where things start to get really interesting because the energy completely shifts here. If the Seven of Swords was about careful strategy and moving with discretion, the Knight of Wands is basically the opposite energy. And yet somehow, both of these cards are meant to work together in your reading this week. Let me explain what I am seeing because this actually makes so much sense when you understand the deeper message. The Knight of Wands is pure fire energy. This is passion and enthusiasm and bold action and a willingness to charge forward toward what excites you. For Taurus, this card showing up is significant because it is pushing you out of your comfort zone in the best possible way. You tend to be methodical and cautious, and you like to think things through very carefully before you make a move. But this week, the Knight of Wands is saying that there is going to be an opportunity or a moment where you need to act with more spontaneity than you typically would. I am sensing that this could manifest in a few different ways, depending on what is going on in your life right now. For some of you, this might be related to a romantic situation where someone enters your orbit who is very different from your usual type, or maybe you feel a sudden spark of attraction that catches you off guard. The Knight of Wands in matters of the heart is exciting and adventurous, and is not interested in playing it safe. If you have been in a bit of a romantic dry spell, or if things have felt stagnant in your love life, this energy is about to wake things up in a major way. For others of you, this Knight of Wands energy might show up in your career or creative pursuits. Maybe you have been sitting on an idea for a while now, something you have been thinking about starting, but you have been waiting for the perfect moment or the right conditions. Well, guess what, Taurus? The Knight of Wands is here to tell you that the perfect moment is the one where you decide to take action. This card is all about momentum and forward movement, and sometimes you just have to jump in and figure it out as you go. I know that might feel uncomfortable for you because you like having a solid plan, but trust me, when I say that this week you are being supported in taking a leap of faith towards something that genuinely excites you. What I love about the combination of the Seven of Swords and the Knight of Wands is that together they are telling you to be strategic about where you direct your passionate energy. It is not about being reckless or impulsive, but rather about being smart in your boldness, if that makes sense. You are being asked to think carefully about what you really want and then to go after it with confidence and enthusiasm. Use the wisdom of the Seven of Swords to plan your approach, and then use the fire of the Knight of Wands to actually execute that plan with courage. Now let me tell you about the third card, because this is where the reading takes another turn. And honestly, when I pulled this card, I smiled because it felt like such a perfect piece of the puzzle. The card that came through is the Ten of Pentacles and Taurus. This is your suit. Pentacles are earth energy just like you. And the Ten of Pentacles is one of the most abundant and fulfilling cards in the entire tarot deck. This card is about legacy and long-term security and building something that lasts, and honestly, it does not get much more Taurus than that. The Ten of Pentacles appearing in your reading this week is telling me that all of the strategic moves you are making with the Seven of Swords and all of the bold action you are taking with the Knight of Wands is ultimately leading you towards something really substantial and lasting. This is not about quick wins or temporary satisfaction. What you are building right now, whether you fully realize it or not, has the potential to create stability and abundance for you for years to come. That is pretty powerful stuff. I am seeing that some of you might be making decisions right now related to your home or your family or your financial foundation. The Ten of Pentacles often shows up when there are important conversations or choices happening around these themes. Maybe you are thinking about making a big purchase like a home or a car. Maybe you are having discussions with family members about inheritance or shared resources. Or perhaps you are at a point in your career where you are starting to think more seriously about retirement planning or long-term investments. Whatever it is, the energy of this card is very supportive and is indicating that you are on the right track. There's also something here about family legacy and tradition. The Ten of Pentacles often features multiple generations in its imagery, and I am picking up that some of you might be feeling more connected to your roots or your family history lately. Maybe you are thinking about the values that were passed down to you or the traditions that you want to carry forward, or perhaps even create new ones. There is a sense of honoring where you came from while also building toward where you want to go, and that balance between past and future feels really important for you right now. What really gets me excited about the Ten of Pentacles in your reading is that it represents the material manifestation of your efforts. You work so hard, Taurus, and you are so dedicated and persistent. And sometimes it can feel like the results take forever to show up, but this card is confirmation that what you have been investing your time and energy into is going to pay off in tangible, real-world ways. This is not just about feeling good or having positive vibes, although those things are great too, but this is about actual concrete results that you can see and touch and benefit from. The fourth card I pulled for you is the Eight of Cups, and I have to tell you, when this card appeared right after the Ten of Pentacles, I really had to pause and tune into what the cards were trying to communicate. Because on the surface, these might seem like contradictory energies, but actually they work together in a really profound way. Let me walk you through what I am picking up here because this is important. The Eight of Cups is a card about walking away from something even when that something might look perfectly fine from the outside. In the traditional imagery of this card, you often see a figure turning their back on 8 cups that are stacked up neatly and walking away toward the mountains in the distance. Those cups represent something that once held emotional fulfillment but no longer does, and the figure is choosing to leave them behind in search of something deeper and more meaningful, even though the path ahead is uncertain. For you, Taurus, this card is significant because it is asking you to really examine what you are holding on to and why. You are a sign that values security and stability, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But sometimes that desire for stability can cause you to stay in situations longer than you should simply because they are familiar or comfortable. The Eight of Cups is gently but firmly suggesting that there might be something in your life right now that you have outgrown, and even though it might feel scary to walk away from it, doing so is necessary for your continued growth and evolution. Now here is how this connects to the Ten of Pentacles that came before it. The Ten of Pentacles showed us that you are building towards something really substantial and lasting. But the Eight of Cups is saying that in order to fully step into that new level of abundance and fulfillment, you might need to release something from your current situation. Think of it like this: you cannot carry everything with you into the next chapter of your life. Sometimes you have to set down what is no longer serving you so that you have space and energy available for what is coming next. I am sensing that for some of you, this might be related to a job or career path that is no longer lighting you up the way it used to. Maybe you have been in the same position for a while, and even though it provides financial security and stability, you feel this growing restlessness inside, like there has to be more than this. The Eight of Cups is validating that feeling and encouraging you to listen to it. You are allowed to want more than just okay. You are allowed to pursue fulfillment, even if it means stepping away from something that looks good on paper. For others, this card might be speaking to a relationship or friendship that has run its course. This does not necessarily mean that there was anything wrong or bad about the connection, but rather that you have both grown in different directions, and what once worked beautifully no longer does. The Eight of Cups gives you permission to honor what was, while also acknowledging that it is time to move on. There is a maturity and wisdom in knowing when to release something with grace, rather than clinging to it out of fear or obligation. What I want you to understand, Taurus, is that walking away from something is not the same as giving up or failing. The Eight of Cups is actually one of the most courageous cards in the tarot because it represents the willingness to choose your own emotional and spiritual fulfillment over external security or other people's expectations. That takes guts, and the fact that this card is showing up for you this week tells me that you have that courage inside you, even if you do not always feel it. Moving on to the fifth card, and honestly, Taurus, when I pulled this one, I actually said out loud, this makes so much sense because it ties everything together so beautifully. The card that came through is the Wheel of Fortune, and this is one of the major arcana cards, which means it carries significant weight and represents major life themes and cycles rather than just day-to-day events. The Wheel of Fortune is all about cycles and change and the natural ebb and flow of life. It reminds us that nothing stays the same forever, and that life is constantly moving through different seasons and phases. For a sign like Taurus, who really values consistency and predictability, this card can sometimes feel a bit uncomfortable because it is essentially saying that change is inevitable and actually necessary for growth. But I want to frame this in a way that feels empowering rather than scary. What the Wheel of Fortune is showing me in your reading is that you are at a turning point. All of the cards that came before this, the strategic planning of the Seven of Swords, the bold action of the Knight of Wands, the building toward abundance with the Ten of Pentacles, and the willingness to release what no longer serves with the Eight of Cups, have been leading you to this moment where the wheel is turning in your favor. This is not random chaos or uncertainty for the sake of it, but rather a meaningful shift that is part of your larger life journey. I am picking up that some of you have been feeling stuck or stagnant lately, like you have been putting in effort but not seeing much movement or progress. The Wheel of Fortune is here to tell you that is about to change. Things are starting to shift and move, and what felt impossible or out of reach just a few weeks ago might suddenly become available to you. This card often brings unexpected opportunities or fortunate coincidences that open up new pathways forward. Stay alert and pay attention, because the universe might be sending you signals or opportunities that you need to act on quickly. There is also a message here about karma and about reaping what you have sown. The Wheel of Fortune reminds us that we are not victims of random fate, but rather co-creators of our lives through the choices we make and the energy we put out into the world. If you have been working hard and staying true to your values and treating people with kindness and respect, then this turning of the wheel is likely to bring positive developments and rewards for your efforts. Trust that what is meant for you will find you, and that you are exactly where you need to be right now, even if it does not always feel that way. Okay, so the sixth and final card in your reading, Taurus, is the Six of Pentacles. And when this card showed up as the conclusion to your spread, I literally got goosebumps because it is such a perfect ending note, and it really brings home the overall message of this entire reading. The Six of Pentacles is a card about generosity and balance, and the flow of giving and receiving. In the traditional imagery, you often see a wealthy figure distributing coins to those who are less fortunate, and it represents the idea that abundance is meant to be shared and circulated rather than hoarded. For you, Taurus, this card is significant on multiple levels. First, it is confirming what the Ten of Pentacles already told us, which is that you are moving into a period of greater abundance and prosperity. But the Six of Pentacles adds an important nuance to that message, which is that this abundance comes with a responsibility to be generous and to share what you have with others. This does not mean you need to give away everything you have worked for, but rather that you should look for opportunities to support and uplift others as you rise. I am also seeing that the Six of Pentacles is speaking to the balance between giving and receiving in your life. Taurus, you are naturally a very generous sign, and you often give a lot to the people around you, whether that is your time or your energy or your resources or your emotional support. But sometimes you have a harder time receiving from others because you pride yourself on being self-sufficient and not needing help. The Six of Pentacles is gently reminding you that it is okay to be on the receiving end sometimes, and that allowing others to give to you is actually a gift that you give to them because it allows them to express their care and support. This card can also indicate that you might find yourself in a position this week where you need to make decisions about how to allocate your resources. Maybe someone asks you for help or support, and you need to decide whether and how much you can give without depleting yourself. Or maybe you are the one who needs to ask for help, and you are navigating the vulnerability that comes with that. The Six of Pentacles encourages you to approach these situations with fairness and balance, considering both your own needs and the needs of others. What I love about the Six of Pentacles as your final card is that it represents a healthy and sustainable relationship with abundance. It is not about accumulating wealth for its own sake or achieving success just to prove something, but rather about creating a life where you have enough for yourself and enough to share with others. It is about recognizing that we are all interconnected and that your prosperity is enhanced when you use it to contribute to the well-being of your community, whether that is your family or your friends or your larger social circle. So let me bring all of this together for you, Taurus, because when I look at your full spread for this week of October 13th through 19th, I see such a powerful and coherent message about where you are and where you are headed. You are being called to move strategically, with the Seven of Swords to take bold action, with the Knight of Wands to build lasting abundance, with the Ten of Pentacles to release what no longer serves, with the Eight of Cups to embrace the turning of the wheel, with the Wheel of Fortune, and to share your blessings with the Six of Pentacles. This is a week of transformation and movement for you, but it is the kind of change that honors your need for stability, because it is grounded in wisdom and intention rather than impulsiveness. You are not being asked to throw everything up in the air and start from scratch, but rather to make thoughtful adjustments and bold choices that align you more closely with your authentic path and purpose. I really encourage you to sit with these messages and see how they resonate with what is going on in your life right now. Pay attention to opportunities that show up this week, especially unexpected ones. Trust your instincts about when to move forward and when to hold back. Be willing to release what is no longer serving you, even if it feels uncomfortable. And remember that abundance is not just about what you accumulate, but about how you share and circulate what you have. Thank you so much for being here with me for this reading, Taurus. I would love to hear if any of this resonates with you or if you have experienced anything this week that connects to these cards. Drop a comment and let me know what is going on in your world. And if you found this reading helpful, please share it with other Taurus folks in your life, because we are all on this journey together. Sending you so much love and positive energy for the week ahead. Trust yourself, trust the process, and know that you are being guided and supported every step of the way.